Hey guys, welcome back to another setup on Assetto Corsa. Today we're going to be doing a little run around the Redbull ring in the Audi TT Cup. Conditions aren't ideal here, but I did the setup previously online. It was a little bit faster online, but I wanted to just test it out against 100% AI. We did a very quick 5 minutes qualifying, did a 1 minute 39.2, wasn't a perfect lap, but went into the race and wanted to test out a very quick 5-lap race around the Redbull ring, racing the AI. So we're off for the start. Basically, I just wanted to get the setup as consistent as I could, and just able to maintain good speed. One thing I do need to point out to everyone about this car is, some people are probably not aware of it. You see, we ran wide there because I had a car on the inside, and if you would have watched me live stream the other day, the 100% aggression AI does have a tendency to just plough through the inside. So we're going to retry and do that a stream every week. We'll get the settings perfect. We're going to do a stream every week, I think, racing the AI, because it was really good fun. We'll probably start from last every week. Sometimes we might qualify and get at the front if it's a fast track where they're fast and try and fend them off. We need to lower that AI down to about 75%, I think, and see what it's like that. Anyway, so getting back to this car, another really fun car that was released on the Ready to Race DLC. Definitely one of my favourites. Very touring car like. You can see we've really got the rotation sorted on this setup through the tight corners, and it's one of the reasons why when I've been online with it, it's been very good. But like I was saying with this car before, I got mentioned the stuff, is there's a very key thing you need to remember with this car. It's got a push to overtake button. You can't use it in qualifying, but you can use it in practice, and also you can use it in the race. So for example, it depends how many laps you do. I think for this, because I was doing 5 laps, it still gives you the 14, I think, but like I think it's got a limit to how many of them you get. So for a 10 lap race you don't get any more, but it's really interesting because it does make a difference. You'll see now, I don't know if we use it on this lap, we might, let's just see if we use it. We might save it for this straight, but if you look underneath the rev counter, number 14 on the screen, it's just next to that 0. That is the push to overtake amount you've got left. So you press your, I think it's the curves or the DRS button you set it up to. You can see we're using it now down the straight, and you can see the improvement in speed. But the AI obviously they also use it, so just be aware of that when racing them. But you can see the difference in the top range. I try to tend to use it in 4th and 5th gear as much. That's the main gears I really want to get the benefit out of it. So it seems to really pull really well if you use it in them gears, and gives you quite a big speed advantage. So just don't forget about that. I mean, you can actually use it on the Redbull ring probably 2 times a lap, maybe 3 depending on where you use it. You can use it 3 probably on the Redbull ring, but you need to use it down the start straight, but then you wouldn't get to use it on the second long straight. And then you could probably use it coming out of turn 3 for a little bit, or you could use it out of turn 2. It might have recharged by the end of turn 2 down that little straight, and then you could use it for the just before the last 2 corners going up that hill, the corner now which we're coming up to. So as you come out of here, you could probably again use it. It probably would have recharged as you come up through this corner now, and you could use it up this hill now where you're accelerating in 5th gear. Quite a good place to use it actually, because it just gives a lot of torque to the engine and that bit more power, so you get the uphill speed advantage. But you can see from the setup, it's handling really nice. It's taking the corners well. You're able to hold the speed. We're pulling away from the 100% AI. And we only set a 5 minute qualifying, and we got pole fairly easy with not the best lap. I think you would have seen on the video I did when I previewed the Ready to Race DLC online. With the setup not as good, we managed as 129. So I think if we go online and race this again with good condition, we should be able to hit a 138.5, maybe around that 138.8 in qualifying. But then in the race you're going to go faster because you've got this push to overtake button. It's something that a lot of people are not aware of that I've seen so far, but I wanted to let you guys know about it. I don't want you guys to be at a disadvantage, because I was in the same boat for the first few races. I didn't know it had this push to overtake button. When I did my lap, when I did this 129.0, I didn't know about it then, but that wasn't qualifying anyway, so you won't get to use it in qualifying. But it is considerable. You can get some overtakes on it. It's really tactical as well. It adds a different element to the game, because obviously they can defend with it. It depends where you're using it. If you want to save it, and if you know you're faster, you can save it, and then let them use theirs and then catch them back up and then use yours. It's quite tactical and it's really enjoyable. But you can see now we're lapping fairly consistently. A 1 minute 39.3 was our lap 2 time, and we're up on that time now a bit, but we're not pushing, we're just trying to keep this consistent at this stage. We're not trying to go all out attack for maximum speed. This is just to test the setup and how it handles. You'll notice there the rear tyres are blue. That is deliberate because you need them in the PSI range, so we've obviously put them into a range that they're going to keep their the heat, and the front tyres stay in the green. You're going to see that throughout the race in this. They're staying in a very nice range, and it's something you need to do really, because if you do the tyres too low at the rear, you're not going to get the performance out of them really. Even though they'll be warmer, you really want them in the PSI range. That's when they're going to operate at their best performance. So we went over the line on the last lap, again at 39.3 by the looks of it, and keeping it consistent. We didn't do the last corner particularly well on that lap, but you can see, I think when you do get it all right, you can see out that corner, we really got that corner nicely then. And when you get the boost button right and you get the lap hooked up, you're into the 38s fairly easily. I think we hit a 38 on, it's possibly this lap we get a 138. We'll have a little look now. I might have used it coming out of this corner, the push to there. See, I use it there. That's a corner you can get quite good gains out of it. It just seems to pull quite well out there. You can see on the Delta now we're 2 tenths up, and it runs out just before you go into that bend, which is handy. So the only issue I've had with this car in this corner is that corner there. Sometimes it runs wide with a bit of understeer, but you just need to just be cautious on the throttle. I actually put the differential down to level the middle setting in 2, because I think if you ran it on the furthest setting, it tended to just want to spin up the wheels and understeer a bit, so it just gives a bit more control to the setup. So you can see we did this corner much better this time compared to the last lap, and we're nearly 4 tenths up on the lap, hitting the curb nicely there, attacking it on the exit, and now we're 4 tenths up and heading for a 1 minute 38.8 it looks like it. Let's just see what it is when we go over the line. So you can see there 1 minute 38.8. This car you can brake quite late with because it's not carrying as much speed as GT3s, for example. You can really attack the curve with the setup that I've got on the car at the moment, especially with it being front wheel drive. It just has more front stability on the car. That's the way front wheel drive cars are. They tend to have less risk of spinning that back end out, so you can attack these corners quite hard with the setup I've got on it. And one thing we did do is we ran quite strong cambers, I think, on the front, and also toes, just to give that front end some real turning into these corners. And you really do need to do that, especially with it being front wheel drive. So I wanted to get the rotation on the car as well. You can see now going into this corner, this was the corner that I wanted a really good rotating car, so we tried to do our setup to really rotate the car around there. So you can see we've got it rotating really nicely, and we're able to get on the power really early. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy the setup, which we're going to go through very soon. When we go over the line, I think we're on the final lap now. You can see there, we're on the final lap, and did we use all our? We didn't use all our boosts anyway, we didn't, because obviously we had too many basically. I could have used a lot more, and I could have probably used 3 a lap and got my lap time a lot faster than what I've done here. But I was just using it just for what you'd probably use if you're online. Most races online are 7 to 10 laps, so you're going to use 1 to 2 a lap. That's how you're going to probably do it. So we're going to go over the line. We've beat the 100% AI. They're reasonably fast with this car as well on this track, set to everything 100%. So you can see in the mirror there, we've built up a couple of seconds lead. Let's see what it is as we go over the line. It's probably just under 2 seconds, or just over 2 seconds. So you can see there, just around 2 seconds. So we got the setup nice, so we'll go quickly through to the setup now and just see what we can change. Obviously we can't change anything on the gearing as it's a cup car and it's all pretty much standard there. Running the medium tyres and the tyre pressures there. Just bear in mind though, with long races, especially on the Brands Hatch Indy track, I found that the hard tyres were stronger. We ran a slightly different setup for that track, but just bear that in mind. If you're doing slightly longer races on this track, you might find that the hard tyres start performing much better at the end. Traction control off, and ABS we had on level, I think we had the ABS on because you can only have it on. So you can see the aerodynamics there. We ran I think it was level 2 or 1 for this track, and I think aerodynamics level 1 there. You can see you can go lower, but you have a tendency of the rear end kicking out a bit. It's just down to yourself. Just bear that in mind. if you're getting understeer, you can take a bit of aerodynamics off the rear. You can see they're very strong on the front cambers. That's to get the turn in through the corner, and slightly lower on the toe, and not so low on the rear cambers, obviously, because you don't want the rear end turning as much. You want to try and get a bit of rotation on the car for this track. So that's how I did the setup for this car. Just have a little look at the toe. Yeah, one thing to know, if you're getting too much rotation, just consider adding a bit more toe on the front. It should help you out, or vice versa. If you want more, you can go lower. Dampers, we did alter some of these damper settings. I think to soften the front slightly up, to give more traction to the front. I think that's how I did this setup. I went, because it's front wheel drive, I wanted to just soften that front up and get more grip for when you're putting your foot down on the accelerator, because then front wheels are taking all the power, so you want more traction out that front in terms of suspension and dampers. So that's how we went around the setup for this car, and it feels really nice to drive. It's definitely an improvement on the default setup, although the default setup is not the worst setup. It actually feels okay, but I just wanted a bit more speed out of the setup, and that's the changes I made just to help myself get a bit more consistency in terms of driving the car. Trying to think, what else did we change in terms of rebound. You can see there we left the rears reasonably high, because not the highest they'll go to, because they can go quite high on this car. That's more to do with, again, because it's front wheel drive car, you can go quite high on the rebound settings on the rear. But obviously you can see there, in terms of the fast rebound, we've gone slightly higher on the back, but not massively higher. Drivetrain, you can see that middle setting. That's where I said you can go all the way to the highest setting, but you're going to cause a bit of understeer when you're getting on the power, because the front tires are just going to spin and want to accelerate, and they're going to give you a lot more torque steering. So running the middle setting just gets rid of that torque steering from the handling and helps the car out. Ride height, we went reasonably low, but not too low that it was going to get affected on the curbs. So we wanted, obviously, with it being front wheel drive, again, we don't want it to be bouncing around when we're in accelerating zones on curbs. And that seems to take it really well with them settings we've got on there. If you make sure you leave any comments if you've tried this setup out on the Red Bull Ring. I know it was on rotation on the online servers for a bit, but it went off. Whether people will start using it again, and if you're going to use a league race and you use this setup, let me know how you think it handles, if it's helped you out, and if you've enjoyed racing with this setup. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll be back with more setup videos very soon, and make sure you click that thumbs up button guys, I do appreciate it. Thanks again.